So let's go see what's on the Goodwill shelves. I cannot believe it. Do y'all see? Do you see what's right in front of me? I don't know. After doing the Dollar General florals, I feel like I can make this better. And then look at, here is the second one. Not the same, a little bit different, but I do think I can make them better. Now, I've seen spoon racks and I've seen them remade just to hold little treasures. So I love the shape of this one. So I think I'm going to give it a try. Well, this caught my attention. It is, I think it's a handmade piece. It's got a cubby, it's got a drawer. I know my hair's in the way, but I'm like, the drawer's a little bit on the funky side and it's super heavy. So let's check this out. Is it something I can fix? Is it just put in there wrong? I'm thinking it's a homemade piece, but you got to figure out, like, can I fix it? You don't want to bring it home and try and think, oh, I can't fix it. But I think I'm going to give this one a try too. Okay, so can I make this look better? I think that I can. So I think they'll just, some of them will pull out. I'm not even sure how they're attached in here, but right now it's more about me making these look better. You just have to look at beyond what something is and say, can I make it better? I think I can, as long as we're not showing this plastic side. So if you guessed it, yes, I'm going to do that little Dollar Tree hack when I bought the Dollar Tree one of coffee stain. So we'll just pour some coffee in there. And you got to do this the day before so they can dry. So, ooh, that's got that. We pulled a lot of the grapevine out. So we're just going to stick this in here. And then I'm going to pour some of the dried on a plate. That way I can kind of really get that grungy look going on. And then I'll just set them off to the side and let it dry. And that's the key, not rushing it. Don't rush it, just let it dry overnight. Taking cheap florals and making them look primitive. Ooh, I got a lot to do though. It's a messy job, but somebody has to do it. So I'm going to take these florals off too, though I'm a little bit like, okay, there's some velvety in there. I'm hoping that it will stain. I think it will. Chris just happens to be in the shop working on a project. So I'm doing a voiceover here, but oh, I think it's going to be wonderful. Okay, so I let my florals dry overnight. Do they not look amazing? Now I've took two different ones and now created them to look similar. I think I forgot to show that in the last video where I smeared it on the granules themselves. I did some of the leaves. I don't know. I think they turned out okay. I think they worked. Okay, let's get creating this wreath. So out of my two wreath forms, I'm trying to decide which one I like better. I think since this one is so large, I'm going to use this smaller one. So I didn't use these fakey, whatever those were. I'm going to take the pine cones off and use this one as my form. So luckily this already had a ring, so I don't have to worry about, so I know that that's going to be my top where it's going to hang. And so I'm just going to start, like, I don't even know if I need these pieces to glue this on. So we're just going to start working it around. I'm just getting an idea first. Might need some help. These ones are glued in. Oh, look at that yumminess. Not everybody's a grungy. Some people like them nice and bright. I like a wreath that I don't necessarily get tired of, that I want to be able to keep it year after year. And I do have some of the previous one where I did it off of the Dollar Tree ones if I need to fill in more, but I think I got a good base going on, trying to intermix the two of them together. So my heat gun, my glue gun, heat gun, is heated. So we'll just start gluing them in place. And I think because I have so many, I'm going to fill up the whole wreath. And then I touched glue and got glue on the front, but there you go. That's the thing with hot glue. You got to give it a second to cool off and start adhering to each other. Love how grungy. I wasn't sure because this material is kind of like more of a velvety material. So I really wasn't sure like, oh, is this going to stain or not? But it did lovely. Yeah, I not only want to do a little bit of the stem that I'm sticking in there, but around that base too. So it really gets a good bond. You know, if you have this on your front door, you know how that you open and close your front door, so you don't want your florals falling off. And it's funny, so once you start gluing them, you're like, well, I thought I had, yeah, you get them closer together when you start to glue them. I think I have plenty between the two wreaths that I thrifted from Goodwill, and then whatever I can fill in from the Dollar Tree ones that I had left over from my previous project. When I was at Walmart, I noticed that they had these greening pins. So I'm not sitting here waiting forever for that glue to dry. I bought 2 packages of these because I thought, oh, I'll use them on another project. But I'm like, you know what? They don't go all the way through. I can use them on this project. I'm still going to glue it. But instead of like waiting forever for the glue to cool off and adhere, I'm going to use those to help it stay in place. I'm sure we can find these at any floral department. So like separate the leaves so you don't see it, and then just kind of tuck it in there, and that kind of brings it a little bit closer and lets it glue together there. Oh my gosh, that is looking awesome already. Oh my lordy. I love it. I'm adding on some of these were the dollar store ones that I dyed. Made a whole bunch of unmatching ones match, I guess. No, they did. So I'm just going to start like here and there filling everything in randomly on the sides because I don't have, I have to spread it out. I wanted my the inside to kind of match, like have a pattern, and then this outside I thought I will just fill in with whatever I have left. I do like these little pins. I know some people use hairpins, bend over wire. They were right there, and I think they were a couple bucks. So I had plenty. I thought I was going to have to use, I have like the little ones, but I don't know. I started like poking the little ones in there, and I'm like, I don't really think you necessarily have to have the little ones. I could, but I think that takes away from the big ones. So we're just going to leave it as is. So I guess they consider things like this grandmacore. And instead of holding spoons, you know, the collectible spoon collection, it's nice to come up with another idea because I love like these shapes. It's very cottagecore. So I'm going to actually repaint this and give you another idea of things you can display in it. So $5.29. I don't know what the cheapest item at a Goodwill is anymore. Some of them are $4.29 today. Some of them are $5.29. The wreaths were $6.29 and $7.29. The $29, everybody's going to ask. Somebody's going to ask anyway. It's the department, meaning it's home decor. So I'm going to see if it's possible to prep sand a little bit. The spaces sometimes are hard, so just something to scuff sand it a little bit. I am looking, of course, if you follow the channel long enough, you know I am a distressed, chippy, aged, primitive, old-time painter. So I like my items after I'm done painting to look older and worn. So if you're new to the channel, that's not your vibe. I'm sorry. Stay for the entertainment. Okay, so just a little bit of prep. Just washing it down, Dawn dish soap, shop rag. You can see how the scuff sanding just took off that really shiny. I taped off the back so I can be as messy painting as I want to be, you know. But I am going to prime this, seal, you know, help my paint, give my paint something to grab onto by using shellac as a primer. And I like shellac because it's clear. So when I'm distressing, I'm not going down to a gray primer or a white primer or anything like that. I'm going down to the wood color because this is clear. For the little spoon collector, I'm going to mix up a mixture of milk paint and Cheshire and basil. Looking for a lighter color, but not too bright. So I'm going to do 2 of the lighter, and then I lose more scoops that way. 1 of the basil. Dry mix it to see what color I'm going to get. And I think that's the color I'm looking for. You know, you kind of have that's the fun of, I love creating different ones with milk paint. So I'm going to do probably a little bit drier of a mixture. So I'm just going to see what 2 scoops of water will do. Oh, that's plenty. Okay, not only do Lazy Susan to help spin my project around, a couple hockey pucks to lift it up, and then I'm just using one of my older brushes that's a little bit flared out because the paint's going to be thicker. And when you mix it up thicker, you don't have to do shouldn't have to do as many coats of paint. The flared brush helps. You know, you can only clean these poor things so much before they get flared out. But I wanted to make sure I could get into all those little crevices. You could, if you wanted to, Bondo over each and every one of the holders, but I'm going to use them in my final design, so I did not do that. People seem to love little places to display their yummies, their treasures, whatever it be that they collect. And the shellac is just sticky enough that it just really attracts the paint. If I don't get everything covered, it's not the end of the world because I like to make a distressed look. Okay, we're all painted. Now we're just gonna, it's gonna take a while to dry when it has this thick of heavy coat, but it does some amazing things usually. You can only pray for the best. Pray for the best. That thicker mixture does some amazing stuff. Along with the shellac, look at all that age that's on there. So I am going to sand whatever will sand and see what happens. I'm going to remove my tape because I need to sand that crusty edge where the paint dries and builds up from where I was trying to protect the back. Just the paint job has taken this outdated piece to the next level. Oh my goodness. So aging wax by Fusion, which is going to get into all those little crevices, cracks of the milk paint where it chipped. And I'm going to take some clear wax by Fusion. And then I'm just going to kind of wax it in there, wax off the excess. Where I sanded, sometimes I just take the sander over and just take the clear wax. And that just revitalizes the wood. Where it dried out from me sanding the edges off, it's all good now. And sometimes I need a dry brush to kind of work the excess wax in weird little places. These would be weird little places, I think. Okay, what do you think of this? This is definitely, I don't know, maybe it's somebody's shop piece. We got a little damage here. We got this drawer that's having issues not going in and out. It's super heavy, holy cow. And we have very sharp edges, meaning you can tell it's a new made piece. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this drawer out and see if just by rounding these edges with some 80 grit sandpaper, I would be able to get it to slide in and out a little bit better. So $5.29 is what this one, luckily they just stamped it. They didn't charge me double. I was really on the fence about this piece because I'm like, oh, it's so super heavy, but you've got somewhere you can tuck stuff, somewhere you can just, greeneries would look awesome in there. And then you can have your collections, your little treasured memory little items that you can display. So yeah, it won. So let me see if I can get this to be a little bit better. So I think what it was is there was a lip here and it was catching. So I think we're good. Except I am going to sand the rest of the piece because I am not a sharp edge type of person. I like my edges rounded. I mean, I don't want, like if I'm carrying it, I don't want it to like hurt me. Well, it came out. I might as well. I'll re-glue it in, but yeah, the glue didn't stick. So the bottom one stuck. The top one, this one just isn't. This is just part of the prep, so sometimes you gotta go in not knowing what you're getting yourself into. And I'm sure you're like, why Bondo? Because the dry time. Bondo has a fast dry time. Compared to waiting hours, you only wait minutes. But the hard thing is you don't want to mix up too much, because as soon as you start mixing it with the little hardener, it starts to harden. So you only have so much amount of time to work with it until you have to make up a new batch if you're not done filling in all your crevices. But unfortunately, it's one of these pieces I'll probably paint all of because it has the new screws in it. Okay, my Bondo is dry now. The longer you let Bondo sit, the harder it gets and the harder it gets to sand. So about 10 minutes. I find it may still feel a little gummy, but it's very sandable. Up, down. Get the extra sanding dust off. And the nice thing about Bondo is a lot of times, sometimes when you get it wet, like the wood putty and stuff, the Bondo's dry. It's not reactivating. Okay, so painting inside cubbies is not fun. Inside things is not fun. But I don't want this to look like a brand new, I just made it piece. So I'm going to spray it with some earthly green and then come up with a color to match on the outside. I'm not even sure if my hand will fit inside there. So spray painting the inside it is. Now I want to seal my spray paint in with a clear coat of weather defense. Even though that might have a top coat, but I'm just going to feel better if I do it. And then I want to seal in my sides while I'm waiting for that back to dry, where I've got Bondo, that raw wood, with some shellac. I come up with a close color. Sure, we're going to give, it doesn't have to be an exact match, but I know that I'm going to start off with the basil base because I know that it's dark. So I'm going to do two, it's a guessing game, 2 of basil, and then that hue, I'm going to do olive. Of old olive. I got Cheshire, but I think the Cheshire is going to end up lightening it too much. I think the equal parts of that will be close. Okay, good place to start is the drawer. I don't know. I mean, it might be a hue off. It might be a little bit lighter, but that's okay. So I always, since I freshly, painted this, I always like to lay it on some wax paper. This is just sheets of parchment paper that came with one of my hauls. That way it's not hurting that bottom. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably not an exact match. We don't really know until it's dry, so. It's not that far off, I think I did okay. So we got some crackling which I'm always a fan of. And so we're going to sand distress even some of the texture out. Look at crackle, a little bit of the wood showing, distress the whole item. So, aging wax, a clear. You have to seal your milk paint in with something. You can just spray it, use a top coat on it. I like to use wax and bring out all the yummy details of the amazing product of milk paint. So I am replacing the knob with a porcelain one. Hopefully I got a big enough. There. Better than it had just a wooden one, if you remember. Oh my gosh, come on, y'all. Really? How many people were still looking for these at the Dollar General, which were, I think, last spring? $4.29. Not sure, something. I think it's just an extra piece. Now, this isn't the same color as what the Dollar General was, so I'm thinking, and it doesn't even have the same feel. Yes, I have made over that many that I know. So I'm not sure. Sheep lantern, distressed iron, creative co-op. So I'm not even sure. One, I don't know where that piece came from. Yeah, what this was. Like why is it a new purchase good? You know how Goodwills will get new purchase goods that didn't sell. How can the sheep lantern not sell? So I am so excited. Yes, I got two, but I am not doing both of them today. I actually still have one in my stash from the Dollar General. So I'm going to save another one for a rainy day, and we're just going to make over one in this video. And I have, oh my gosh, I don't even know if somebody would go back on the channel and count how many times I've made this over, how many of these sheep planters I've had. But I'm going to do something super simple. We're going to spray paint it. But I'm still going to give it my aged, crackly look that I like with a different technique. But spray painting it, because you know, when you have to go like this, then you have to wait for that to dry. So before flipping this over and spraying the other side, I want to seal in, because it's just a spray paint. There's no top coat, anything to protect it, with a clear coat of weather defense. Get an aged look on this. I just spray painted piece. I'm going to be using Pentart Crackle Effect. I'm probably my last. I'm going to need to reorder. But it has a two-part. It has a 1 and a 2, so you have to let the first part dry before adding the second part. And the first part to me kind of reminds me of like glue, Mod Podge, that type of. But you just put a coat on, a nice generous coat. And since I'm down to my last, I'm not going to stress about my bottom. I'm going to hope I can make it to the bottom, but. So I'm going to put it all over. I had plenty to be able to do the bottom. Now, did it do anything amazing? We're hoping so. It's so hard to see. So I have antiquing wax by Homestead House, which is darker than the aging wax. And now I'm just going to rub it over it. Do you see anything? Oh yeah, I see them. I see them. Excited. There it is. There's the crackling that we were looking for. I do want to do this though. I do want to see if I can darken up their faces with decrepit dust. So I don't know why, but I always end up selling this with some type of greenery in it. So we're going for the fall theme. And it fits 1 cube or 1 container of Dollar Tree Florofoam perfectly. Then I have these very fun fall florals that I got from CW Gifts, which is a wholesale company. I bought some out of somebody's booth to do one of my my vignettes in my house, and the next thing you know, I'm like, I need more. I really like them. So to get to use them on things like this, I'm just going to cut them off the stem. Then we're just going to, I think they're bushy enough. It's fall bush that I don't need to put any of the grass in there. I think it'll fill it up without. So thank you so much for hanging with me as I went through Goodwill, seeing if there was any project pieces on the shelf. I hope you enjoyed today's content. I hope you take at least one of my little tricks, hacks away and share them with family and friends or anybody who loves to DIY craft. So thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel, and we will see you next time, and you can see what I'm up to. Bye.